Hello again. Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. That's because what's in my drawers, it's we're talking about because old club fitters and club makers are terrible pack rats, and that's me. And it's expanded into quite the international, we'll call it a podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it, and where we talk about golf fitting, golf repairs, golf opinions, and golf reviews. So let's get to it. So as we talk about for most, we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit today. And we're going to talk about the Valero Open, right? The Valero Open, and a crowd favorite one, right? Jordan Spieth. I did not see one round of this, but apparently he won with a -6. And Charlie Hoffman was close behind at -16, also shooting a -6. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of names that people would see that, you know, did very, very well. They just didn't win. And apparently the winner can go to the Masters. However, he's already a winner of the Masters, so he gets to go anyway. So all that did was just get an invite for somebody else. And as usual, we go down to the bottom, and number 78 in the field is Gordon Williams. Actually, it's William Gordon, sorry. William Gordon. And he ended up at a +8, shooting a +1 on the day for that time frame. So not too bad. Saw somewhere the LPGA's in action right now too, so keep your eye on that because apparently Michelle Wie is back, and it is tough as ever. Now, some of the work we have been doing has been absolutely crazy busy. We actually sent a record number. Well, sending anything out of the United States would be a record for us, but we broke it in spades. We sent 4 sets. I think it was 4 sets. 4 sets to Canada, and this is the first set. It is the ZX4, or for Canada, the ZX4, and we used the Acura golf shafts in there and using the 50i series. And it's funny that Acura comes from Canada, so it came to the U.S. and only to go right back. The second set that went in that same box were some CBs, only not that set of CBs. It was that set of CBs. And this set of CBs, as you can tell, came with another set of the wedges, which was very, very nice. At least I'm believing this is the right one. And we put the Modus Pro in there, all upon request, all with some grips that we actually had on hand, and away we go. Another set going to Canada. Not those. Another set going to Canada. Here we go. Right there. This set of CBs. And with some driving irons in it, just the opposite end. So it was kind of funny. We had just about every kind and shape imaginable as far as what was going out. The driving irons are really quite cool. And then we have the CBs, which worked out really well. And then what it went in those were TGI 95s. And TGI 95s, they can come in a handful of flexes, but we talked about the swing speed, and it's very comparable to what I have, and I could go with some experience, so we did pretty good. And then in the driving irons, we put the prototypes. So we did really, really well there. And then a customer asked to finish out a set, and we put a launch pad in there for him. So we had a lot going on, a lot, and including all the repairs that we had to do, including all the other things that we had going on. Handfuls of repairs, easily 100 plus golf clubs went out the door. So that, very, very well. The other part was, and I don't have my picture of the whole thing, but I do have this picture. I got a new grill. I got a pellet smoker. It is a Rectech 700. I'm not associated with them, so it's not a commercial, but I have to say that I am very, very impressed with them. What else did we do? In our improvement stages, right? In our improvement stages for the fitting area, we've done this. I'm gonna have to take you on a tour, so get ready. Here we go. And we got that. We got ourselves a new net. we got the new net on, and it should be, we're going to get it. I did some adjusting the other day, and we should be good to go. All right, finally, and give me you guys' I need your opinion. So I've had to start I'm doing research on a new fitting system, not necessarily a way of doing it, but a new connector, okay? And what I've been using for years is this. It's a Club Connect, all right? So this comes off, and that inserts into that head. And it's been a very, very efficient system. It served me well for years and years and years. However, due to the business changes that have been going on in the industry, that system is not going to be available to me unless I want to pay some really, really high price. And I'm not, almost to the point of robbery. And I have found another company that has done that. Has the same kind of knurled knob, it's just much, much smaller. And, oh, here we go. Got to take it off. Here we go. And it works under the same principle as threading on. However, it's a sleeve that goes into a sleeve. Now, there's some other stuff I've got to do for sure in order to make that work. But the prep of the head is way different, and almost to the point where that's easier. Now you can see all my smudges I've got, but I think it looks cleaner. So I've been experimenting with different glues to see what will fail and what won't. And the first batch of glue that I used, when I put it on there, I got an immediate, not an immediate failure, but I hit about a dozen golf balls, went to try and turn it, and it turned. So that was a failure. So I re-glued it with a different glue, and it's been on there only for the shaft to fail because it was the same glue. So I took it off, put this stuff back on there, and I must have got to it too early. I've since reshafted or re-glued it, and it's hard as a rock. So I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Now the funny part is the right-handed model that I made, I gave to, I don't know, 4 or 5 guys, and they've all hit it and nothing's happened. So I don't know what, maybe it's just me hitting on the end or whatever, but you just never know. So, okay. So that's where we got with that. That takes me for a whole entire 8 minutes. But that's what we are, and that's where we're at. So we're showing a bit of improvement. We have been busy, and that's a good thing. And I hope everybody had a good Easter that celebrates that holiday. And I'm seeing that we're seeing a lot of, get this. There we go. We're seeing a lot of golf courses opening. I'm seeing a lot of YouTube from like Finch and Shields and those guys getting back out and stretching their legs and whatnot, and that's pretty good. So happy to see that. So I'm sure we're going to find out how that worked out. So let's go and see. Alrighty. Here we go. Holland Mabes. What's your opinion on the PXG? I think it's a fine club. I'm not going to ever say an OEM makes a bad club. All right, the PXG, I think the 0211 is one of the originals. The only thing it's a longer bladed club if it's the same one, and it has a medium type offset, a slightly wider sole at the toe, and it is extraordinarily soft to the point that if you're playing a lot of golf, it is so soft I would have the loft and lies checked. If you're playing a lot of golf, say 3 times a week, I would have the lofts and lies checked at least quarterly. That's how soft that stuff is, and particularly if you're playing on some hard surface. If you're not, then I would expand it as much, but there's always a good one. Well, actually, that's pretty. If you're dropping that much money on those set, that's pretty good. The driver is nice. I don't know much about the 3-wood. We don't do a lot of 3-woods here, but the driver is nice, the 311. They, you know, as you well know, they've upgraded. They've probably got, oh heck, I don't know, 2 or 3 generations now, and that would be the first one. So there's other ones out there that are improved from a technology point of view. However, you know, it's still not a bad driver. Mr. Kent, how are you, sir? 1 week and not missed a day's golf yet. Well done. Well done. First open comp of the season on Wednesday at Pleasanton. Nice. Forecasted for snow. Really? Are you? Oh, my goodness. Are we ever going to get out of that funk over there or what? Well, wear your toboggan, man. I know you guys are tough enough to get through it, but hopefully it's not like covering snow. Holy smokes. Matt, 72, 68, 74. Oh, nicely done, buddy. Nicely done. I like to say I still haven't got out. I've been putting all that club work together. Now that I'm caught up, it's time for other work. Okay, question. How do you choose what golf shoes to use? Do you own multiple pairs? Actually, I don't own a lot of golf shoes at all. I guess like most guys, my way I select golf shoes is, are they comfortable and do they look all right? You know, I'm not a, you know, I used to be a real traditionalist when it came with that, with the saddle shoes. I've since grown past that one and tried the what I would call boat shoes. The one that had a whole bunch of nubbins on the bottom that are real easy to walk in, and they are super duper comfortable. But there's just something about that transitioning for me that just doesn't work. And so I tend to stay with shoes that have the plastic cleats in them, and then if it looks like a tennis shoe, that's fine. If it looks like a regular golf shoe, that's fine. But as long as it, you know, doesn't look horrendous, doesn't have like lightning bolts on it or anything like that, then I'm good to go. However, you know, and again, I'm not associated with them. You hear the squares shoe, it lets you get swing speed and all these other things. I'd have to see the science behind it, but they're claiming it, so it must be out there somewhere. But comfort and style, man. Comfort and style. That's where mine come from. David, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're staying safe, too. We're playing golf in England. Yay. Still no shafts. Really? Still on back order. Can you recommend alternatives to the Nippon 950 GH? Yeah, I would look at Nippon make, if you wanted to stay in the same line, they make a Neo. And I'm looking, I think, normally I have one against the wall. It's a 950 Neo. You can look at that, and I believe the costs are very, very similar if you can get one of those. If not, then if your KBS is available, then I would look at the Tour 90. The Tour 90 would be in that same category. And one more just in case. What were they called? The XPs, the XP line, the XP95s, all those are, they're not exact by any shape of the imagination, but they're all very, very similar. Okay. Charles Bartholomew. Mr. Bartholomew, I have to send out a huge, huge thank you. And here it is, sir. Mr. Bartholomew thought kindly enough to have some Glenfiddich, not 12, but 14 thrown at me. And it's the bourbon barrel model, and it is very nice. Again, salute, sir. Thank you so very much. And if we were both old enough, I'd say DBF, but I guess we got to figure out another one for us. So well done, and thank you very much. All right, Mr. Kent. Me either. Me either. There's Willard. How are you, sir? Hope everything's turning out all right. There's my niece. I have family out here today. Well, we've had family this whole weekend visiting. My one sister from Indiana, she was out here. She's already gone back home. And I have another sister that's here from Wisconsin, and this is her. That's her niece. There you go, right there. That's her daughter, and they've got she's got a brother that's probably not watching, and they're all out here. And my dad, who in 2 days will be celebrating his 85th birthday, so we're getting it all done right there. Phil, where have you been, sir? Where have you been? Again, 14, and in my crystal glass we got from Ireland. I'm gonna get it, Waterford Crystal. There you go, nicely done. All righty, let's see what else we have found. As it is Easter, the chicken or the egg question, what's more important, the head or the shaft? Okay, David, there. You know, that's kind of that's very, very important question, actually. And I talked to Mr. Wishon about this one. Tom Wishon, he hates Mr. Wishon, but that's fine. Captain Clubmaker. And he was in a room full of PGA guys. And he says, what's more important? He says, head or shaft? How many vote for the head? Half the room does this. And he says, okay. He says, so I give you the most perfect head, and of course all these guys are younger studs that swing, tremendously fast. And I give you a shaft that's 46 inches long, weighs 40 grams, and is an A-flex. Now what? Right? Now what? And he's got a point. Right? It doesn't, it's not fitting. And he makes his point, and so everybody thinks, oh, it's the other one. So how many want the shaft? And everybody raises their hand, oh, we want the shaft. And he goes, okay. So I give you the most perfect shaft, the right length and everything, and I put it in a 4-degree driver head. Or for that matter, a 15-degree driver head. Now what? And there you go. Hopefully it's rolling around in there. And that's the reason. It is a culmination of the two, right? You have to have that marriage between the two. Now, there are all other kind of subcategories in there, but not one is more important than the other. They got to work together. I will say that, we'll start with the shaft. They say, oh, it's the engine. No, it's the transmission. It's what translates the power from you to the head, right? So it's a transmission. So weight, flex, torque, profile, for that matter, color, because I've ran into people that are color sensitive, logo sensitive, that kind of stuff. Then you get to the head. And is the head draw bias, fade bias, straight up the middle, slider weight, tall, thin, egg shape, round? Does it have the right coloring on the top? I mean, there's all these things. The technology that comes into it. Does it add spin? Does it lower spin? All these, where's the center of gravity? All these different things that go into play that are subcategories of those heads. And those are the things that need to be considered, and that's why you do those fittings. Because the fitter is going to have those options, or at least most of them, and know from what you're seeing that might be the best option if that person doesn't have it. And that's what it is. Dave, and I also sent a note to the ICG and told them about mentoring, and they didn't even budge. They were like, or they didn't even blink. They said, fine, no problem. So it's on. And there's my sister, and she's in the other room. She's all right. Brzezowski, what do you say, Mr. Dave? It was a very nice hat, I have to admit. If my head wasn't so flaming big, I wouldn't have given them away. But, hey, my big head is your guys' catch right there. All righty. L. Calvin, what do we got here, sir? What do we got? M5 driver suddenly making an unusual thud noise. It's not the normal sound. I did not see any cracks in the head, but did not... No, I'm going to say did not notice a performance loss. at least during the round used, do you think the head is toast? Well, you may not see an unusual crack in the head, but now a lot of these drivers are multiple piece, right? There's like they've got like a cup face, right, on them, and then the crown itself comes back from there. A couple of things I would check. Number one, if it's got a movable weight or a removable weight, check that. All right, just make sure it's tight. The second part is that you want to look along, not necessarily on the face or on the top for a crack, but look along the seams. Okay, look along the seams and see if you might see anything that's, I don't know, separating, or looks like it might have come loose, because there's been plenty of failures where that crown just pops off, right? And does it impact the performance? No, it's a big sound thing. And so, lastly, if it's not impacting your game, I wouldn't sweat it until it fails, because an M5 sounds like it's a fairly new one, and you could tell them you could turn it around. Mike from Buffalo, how you doing? Hey, D3 college tournament, nice. Heavy winds off of Lake Erie. There you go. Well, dude, for all that we've had going on, and in Buffalo, and playing against the wind, dude, that I would give you, that's an accomplishment. Well done. Hats off to Mike. Mark, that's a good question. And it's going to sound funny, but yeah, I think so. All right, now here's the caveat. I have seen guys that are brand spanking new and have a really high scoring average, but you hand them a forgiving club, right? You give them this forgiving club, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the perfect one, and they can't hit the broadside of a barn with a bass fiddle. But you give them a player's club, and they just smack the snot out of this thing. And it's all about what fits your eye, right? And so, yeah, I think it can happen. Again, the best answer in golf is it depends. It depends, right? And that's what I would do. So to check, go to one of the big box stores, or if you got somebody that has that nearby, have them throw one on there. And you don't have to have. See, they typically go with the Dynamic Gold DGS 300, right? If you're not that person, you can always have them installed with, say, a DG 105 or a Nippon, or a Nippon as they're really called, something else, in order for that club to be for you. Okay, let it be for you. And but if you're going to go and get that, even at a 21, to get just some of the basic parameters, go get fit, right? Go get fit. Nope, I went all the way to the bottom already. There we go. I don't know. I have to check. I got the 700, and if I could figure out how to get that silly app to work, this would be a grade A plus setup. But as it goes, it only takes the 2.4 gigahertz, and I've got my transmitter does one of each, and I can select one, and it still doesn't like it. Of course, I've been told to make a hotspot out of one of my phones, and now in order to do a hotspot out of one of the phones, you've got to have the phone program for it, or the phone, the supplier's got to be able to let you have it. And I have an unlimited plan, and for some reason I can't do that. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. There you go. My tongue's not working. Place. But yeah, I've done a brisket, I've done a pork butt, and then we did some country style ribs, and I am completely impressed. So yep, maybe they do need to kind of sponsor this thing. All righty. All right. Thank you, Charles. Glad you like it. Hey, Danny. I cooked a pork butt. Very first thing I cooked. And I let it go for quite some time, a little bit more than I would normally do, because there was some rumor out there where you can't get a crust or a coating on the outside. So I just wanted to leave it go before I Texas crunched it. And, dude, it turned out good. And normally your first cooks on those things are phenomenally bad. And this thing was really, really good. The thing I was just absolutely mostly impressed with was the cleanup. All right, the cleanup with this thing was just crazy good. And I just soaked it. I got a big deep sink in my utility room, and they were able to go right in there and no problem. And the rest of it is just vacuuming. Oh man, this is roll up the tin foil, bam, and vacuum, bam, clean up, bam, all done. And now the thing is, on the top of where it curved, I had to do a little cleaning there where the smoke was coming out, where it's not tight. But outside of that, man, thing did good. All right. Jerry Smiley, it's getting hot in Texas. Well, I think we're all going to see that, right? Okay. It's a case of having a great system and then taking to use that system. The new one your research looks good. Use it and kick the other to the curb. Well, Kent, you know what? With the kind of investment that I'm getting ready to make, the idea is I'm going to beat the crud out of this thing for a few more days, and then, yeah, you're going to see it go, because I'm going to have to completely retool the heads. So when you do it with, here's the deal. Oh, wrong one. When you do these, and here's the difference. When you do use this guy, this weighs a lot. Now it's very, very sturdy, but it weighs a lot. And this, not so much. And in order to get this weight taken out of, I've got to cut 1/4 of an inch off of that hosel and then end mill it another 1/4 of an inch. Now that's great on most, but there are some hosels out there that don't want you to go that far. So you're kind of stuck, but that I can get around. And then you got that big honking thing on the outside. Well, now the outside of this is what? Oh, okay. And then this guy, there is no reaming on the outs. There's no end milling. You just ream it, but you ream it to a pretty good size. And that's what I'm working on, is getting the right size. They told us, but I think it's a little bit big, and so I'm going to have to step drill it. But that's what we're looking for. All righty. All righty. Thank you. Dave played a long Easter Sunday round with Sycamore Hills Golf Course, 5-hour round. Ooh, 41-40. Nice, well done. Yeah, when you gotta kind of get your mind kind of set, don't you? All right, Jake. When building your sets, does the 7-gram difference you talk about still apply from pitch to gap, sand and lob? No. And it depends on the manufacturer. When I go to from the pitch to the gap, it can be 7, but on the whole, it's typically 4. And then it jumps again from the sand and the lob. You go from about a 293-ish, right, to about a 303-ish, and then the lob wedge goes another 4 from there. So there's a definite and then another small step. And the idea here is, I used to go, in the day, I used to make them all the same length. And the idea is that they would progressively get heavier in swing weight, with the idea that the idea of these clubs were to get underneath the ball, to get the ball up in the air and launch them higher. And if you were playing in some heavy rough, or the junk was pretty harsh or the sand was really, really fluffy, that worked out very, very well. However, in some cases, it made the lob wedge almost unusable because it was so heavy. And so what I started doing is going 1/4 inch increments instead of 1/2 inch increments, and the swing weights would just get slightly heavier. And then that tended, and I saw a lot of progression there, and it does very, very well there. So there we go. What are your thoughts of the mobile club makers' comments on spine and puring? Lonnie, I don't know what they are. I don't know who the mobile club makers on spine and puring. If you're asking me, what I'm going to, what he's probably saying is that there is, it's useless and you don't need it and it doesn't impact it or anything like that. And that's an argument, right? That is an argument to be sure. That, you know, they've done their testing and they've not seen anything different. Okay. However, I have seen improvement. Now, is it on everybody? No. Just like in golf, everything is not a guaranteed, right? Just like asking about those CBs earlier, they're going to fit everybody? No. I know that I have some very good players that will not go out without that thing being spine aligned and pured. Okay. But also with the with the time that I've invested in it, as far as knowing what it does and how it works and that kind of thing, I think it may, if nothing else from this, it makes a very consistent club, and it will do this. It will do what you ask for it, and it will do it in a consistent fashion. And if nothing else, that's what it's for. And so, but I don't know what he says, so we'll have to see. Well, good for you, man. What do I think about the backstrike? Oh, my goodness. Where are you digging these things out of? I'm not a fan. There's a lot of technology invested in it, as far as it goes, and this thing goes all the way to the back and you're kind of pushing it forward. There's a lot of people that like that look. I can get away with it in looking at it, but it probably lost popularity just based solely on its looks, not on its performance. Do I think it can perform? Yeah, I do. Does it look weird? Yeah, it does. But the real question is, can you look down on it and can you use it? If you can, then by all means, you can get a brick and a stick going, and if it works, then fine. But it's been so long since it's out there, I think it misses some of the that new Stroke Lab stuff, or even the O-Works things. I think if it had the O-Works in it, it'd probably be a winner. I mean, people would still really accept it. The cement crunchers, yeah. Rush Ride and the ICG recommend the Golf All Fit system. Jim, been highly recommended, and no subscription charges. Well, and there's the thing, right? It's been very, very good. And the reason why it's being real popular is because it's the one that's available. Yeah, I don't know so much as, I still reserve my opinion, and I do like the simplicity of it. I mean, that's a whole lot easier to look at than the other one. And the idea of not having to jack around with the swing weight is even better. And I just want to make sure. that I'm not going to have a big monster failure after have to totally reinvest in all of the irons. And that's what I'm trying to get away from. Once I do, there it is. Al! Well, let's see. Maybe I can help you out. There. I did a Reels. It's on Instagram. I don't know how long. I know little or nothing about this thing, man. Let's see if I can make it go for you. Well, maybe not. Nope, apparently that's what it is. Yep. So there they are. I like them. They turned out pretty good. It's a little fuzzy with that one, but there they are. I do like them. They turned out very, very well. You should be seeing them shortly. What year did the King Cobra LSF ST fairway woods and bafflers come out? Ooh-wee. The Cobra Speed line came out. The LD was for long drive, and the F and the ST fairway woods were a little something else. I'm going to say those are probably circa 2010, 2012, somewhere in that area. Yes, it is very smooth. I am very happy with that. Oh no. Oh no. Working on the driver broke the shaft. That's not good. I learned why you have to pull the adapter and not press it out. I bent the adapter. Ooh. Okay. That's not very good either. You got some work ahead of you, sir. Sturgeon, you bet, buddy. There you go. I have seen some folks out there that will play in regular shoes, not like office shoes, but athletic shoes, and they'll get away with it. Switched over from Facebook. I was having issues getting hot here in Texas. We'll hit the course in the morning. Very good, sir. No doubt, right? It can get that way in a hurry, man. I've got a little bit left over the 12. I opened up the 14 for thanking Charles for his basically, I don't know, his gift. Thank you so very much. The Dalmore's done, and we're going to take it just one dram at a time, as they say, one dram at a time. There you go. How are you, sir? We saw that it passed the customs. We got the tracking notification for that. Hopefully you do. So for all you guys that don't know, this gentleman right here is the one that I was showing you with the ZX4s and the JPX Tours. Both very, very fine clubs. And again, thank you. James, if you send, I'm having, for some reason, the club maker email is not doing it. So if you would, send it to the mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, and Robin will help you out. Well, it depends on where you're at. What is the question? It's not the 2JV. You know, I was on a submarine, or I was taking a tour of a diesel boat, and it had, we had 4 JVs. I saw they had a 1 JV. I was like, holy cow. So there you go. Let's see what that means for them. Mid-80s, struggling with the driver. Get ready, in the beginning, the long club is always a tough one, and so is the short game for feel. If any other friends looking at a new set, I'll email you guys the details, and if you can help us out pick a set, that'd be great. No problem, Stan. No problem. Okay, keep going down. Here we go. The DTC golf balls that are on the market. Jerry, I'm not real familiar with those. The DTCs. Not sure what that one is. What I have come across, had a chance to play, was the Callaway's, that Chrome Soft XLS, and It does what it says it's supposed to do. It doesn't feel as soft as the Chrome Soft. It's a little firmer, but it doesn't spin out of control. And that was always my problem with it, is I spun that even more. And this thing stayed on target, so I'm good. All right. We're no longer live on YouTube. Uh-oh. Well, let's see. We'll have to look. I'll send a little note to the wife and see. Maybe we are. Still on YouTube. We'll see what she's saying. All right. Golly, it went all the way down to the bottom again. All righty, James. All right, here we go. You're getting it. Very cool. Oh, it says I'm on, so we're still good. Gunter, how are you, sir? Greetings from Australia. It's in the morning. Have you had your, are you getting ready for your daily round of golf? Thank you for coming on all that way. Or Austria, I'm sorry, not Australia. Austria, I apologize completely. But thank you for getting on. If you have any questions, just let us know. Or enjoy the conversations. Imbunga, what's up, buddy? Any word on whether Callaway will be releasing the Jaws forged raw wedges? I've seen them on some Tour Pro bags like ROM. No, I have not. And typically we get a little bit of the news because I'm on the staff with them, and I have not heard a thing. However, it's getting on. MD5 is hitting its second year, so we should be seeing an addition of something, right? We should be seeing an addition of something coming around. I am surprised we haven't seen a PM grind release as well. And those two would make sense to be additions, but I have not heard a thing. Liz, that'd be about the size you guys would need. That's the next size down from mine. Thomas, what's going on, sir? 3-wood at 43.75. I hit the ball better than my 45-inch driver, or at 44 inches, only getting 100 thoughts. Swing lessons might be worth an investment. All right, so Thomas, I did a bunch of fittings in 2 years, and then I put them all in a graph and Excel spreadsheet, and I found that the best length, bar none, regardless of height, age, sex, whatever, that 44.5 inches was the best club length for most people. And that tends to track with the tour, right? 44.5 to 44.75. That tends to track. And 45 was statistically the worst length. Now, that's not to say that you can't, that it might not be the right one for you, but statistically it was the worst one. Now, therein lies with that one. Now, the 3-wood at 43 and 7.5 is almost 44 inches. A quarter of an inch isn't going to be like a massive game changer between 44 inches with a driver. Now, there's so many things that could be changed, or could be different. It could be the flex of the shaft. It could be the weight of the shaft. It could be the profile of the shaft. It could be the way that the head engages the turf instead of off the tee. There's so many different things. One of the things I would work on is, and I ran into it today. We had 3 gentlemen from West Virginia in here today. And I had one that was just teeing it up, and when you teed it up, he was tilting to get that swing up in the air kind of thing going on. And I'm here to tell you, no, right? If you're doing, just tee the thing down, tilt yourself back to normal, swing through, let the driver do the work, not you, and then that way you don't hit those monster blocks and get forming from there. But and it just could be a whole lot of different things. Now. And it also could be the loft. I mean, if you're carrying 190 and you've got and let's just say it's a decent hit, not a super duper hit, but a decent hit. And let's say you ought to be carrying 210 instead. That could be very well it could be the wrong loft. It could be the wrong flex. There's a lot going on in that one. But you know, and if you're actually hitting the 3-wood, good for you, because not very many people, you know, hit the 3-wood very good anymore. Thanks playing the V6, but love the look of the CBs. Hit the ball well, just can't chip or putt. And that's the death of all of us, isn't it? There's Joe. Joe is a man who is probably one of the busiest folks I've seen working on airplanes. Does a lot. And he picked up a set of clubs from us after we got him through it. And have you ever had a time where you've had a terrible time fitting a client, and why? No, you know, and all the times what I've done, now what I will do going forward, what I've done, let me start over and I'll speak English. The answer to that would be no. Now, you know, you get folks that come in and they already know what they want. All right. And I will try and show them that this is a different way, and that there's a different way to skin that cat. And typically the only way you're going to do it is either consistency or distance, and you have to really outdo one or the other. Okay. The other one is that just the other end of the spectrum, and their swing isn't where it needs to be. You know, when you always say, oh, I need to get a lesson, or do I need to get fitting? Well, it would be my opinion that if you are just getting started, you picked up the golf club for the first time, hey, what's this? It's a golf club. Go get a lesson. Go find out some basics. Go learn the etiquette, right? That's what I think most of what I see anymore out there is just a killing of the etiquette out there. But you say, what's that for golf? Well, that's an important part. However, go get a lesson, learn some of the basics, and then really, really, really improve upon those, right? Really improve upon those. And then that way you can enjoy the game going forward. And what I will do in those particular cases is I will stop the fitting and I will turn it into a lesson so that we can learn better of what we might need and get them into a general area. There you go. Warmer and rainy weather in our forecast, so hopefully the snow is gone in northern Ontario. Yeah, I'd like to see that happen as well. Oh, okay, guys, I also forgot my little shameless plug. The McGolf apron, right? McGolf apron. If you're a barbecuer or if you're a club maker and you're looking for an apron, there they are. Send us a note to mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, and Robin will take care of you, and we will give it an envelope. They come in a large or an extra large, and they are plenty fine and plenty good. I know I've said it more than once, but they've been washed, and they keep getting softer, and I think they even got better when they did it. Are single-length hybrids worth buying? If the answer to that would be yes, and whether or not you are, where the trouble starts is right around the 5, and that's where most of the hybrids start for single length. If you're one of those people that don't believe that you can get the club airborne for some particular reason because of single length and a 5-iron, that would be the reason why you would want to get a hybrid. Now, are they the single lengths that are out there all filled with all the technology that you see in a normal hybrid? No, they're not. But the idea here is to make a 5-iron out of it, not a 5-wood, and that's what these do. So yeah, I think there's a place for them. Okay, Joseph, what's up, man? I have an older 2010 TaylorMade driver that it appears to be separating from the hosel. I probably hit 1,000+ shots with no further separation. Do you think it needs to get fixed? Well, I'd have it looked at if nothing else, because peace of mind is just incredible. Now, it may not be the head. It may just be the ferrule creeping out the other way. You might check that. Easiest way is to try and push on it, and if it pushes down, chances are it's the ferrule. The other one is look at it, hold on to it, And if your grip and the head looks aligned, it very well may be just the ferrule. But I'd always check it just for peace of mind. There's Matthew. How are you, sir? Thank you for showing up. Tour club makers are saying it's snake oil. Are we back to talking about the puring and that kind of stuff? Yeah. Well, okay. The tour guys don't bother themselves too much with that. The thing that they keep in mind, their clientele is very, very select and very, very. They have their own mind about a lot of things, and the things that they worry about are length, weight, whether it be swing weight or total weight, mostly swing weight, and lie angle. And then if the grip feels good in their hands. And that's it. All right, so we're talking about guys that could take a brick and a stick and take our money every day. And so they don't do it. However, if you go out there and there's typically a pure truck that goes out onto that tour, and there are a lot of folks that go and get it done. So whether they think it's snake oil or not, the players believe in it, and that's the driving factor for it. So what I do here is what I call as an analog version of that digital puring, and that's all. And that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, the computer's a little more tight, but you still have to assemble it in the proper fashion. There you go. Well, if it works, like I said, if it works, man, throw it around. Got my G425 irons, 1 inch over with AW shafts. They came in at D6 and wedges at D9. Ping said they can't fix the swing weights, a little upset. Well, 1 inch over and AWT shafts. So let's do this. Let's assume that, and I know what happens when you assume. Let's assume that their standard issue club is D2, right, with a steel shaft, D2, D0 with a graphite. Now, if we go 1 inch over, we're talking a lot of swing weight, right? And just going to add on the wedges. So you're talking at least 6 swing weight points at a bare minimum. And so they've gone as small as they possibly can. The only way that the swing weight's going to come down, Donald, is, and if it's just purely swing weight, right? You're talking about, which side's heavier. And if this side's heavy and you want it not to be heavy, you weigh this side, and then that way you get your swing weight. Unfortunately, what you're going to be doing is adding weight to make the club feel lighter. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that philosophy, but that's where you're at. And anything you get an inch over, it's going to be tight unless you go to something that's in a lighter shaft category, i.e. a 105 or even a 95, and then you can get down into the normal range again. In fact, I just did that. I just did that for a guy in a set of CBs in Kentucky, which was one of the builds I was doing, and we went 105s with the CBs, and I got him into, and we had to use a mid-size grip, and I believe we had him in the D3 category, which I think is acceptable. So, there's a lot going on there, Donald. If you're inch over, must be a pretty taller fella. If you got standard grips, you might consider getting measured for your grips, and if they were gotten bigger, if you need bigger ones, that would probably help you in what you're looking for. I don't know, Aaron. I haven't talked to him for a while. I got to get in there and get to him because we were really discussing hard and heavy about doing some more reviews, and I would like to do it. The man never stops. He's always got something good coming out. So we'll have to see about that. Daggone. Went all the way down again. Al, anytime, man. I do think they turned out really, really well. I do like how they came out. Oh, direct to consumer. Okay, Jerry. Well, like Vice, or there's another one out there. The MTB, I think, is another one that was out there. You know, there's Merit. I just wish I could remember the name of the doggone ball. It's not Vice. It's the other one. They come out. The guy used to work for design the Pro V, right? Has a really good up here, really good upstairs for making a golf ball, and he's selling that, and he's selling direct to consumer. I believe he might be expanding a little bit or into a stockist kind of setup. However, there's Encore, right? Encore seems to be gaining a popularity. I got to test some of the initial golf balls, and I wasn't a fan. It just seemed heavy, like it wasn't ready for market maybe. The other one, you know, these people like it, and a lot of people like it based on price. And if that's your driving factor, then okay. However, normally you can get that, and the price is will make you, you know, accept a lot more is the best way to say it. Now, there's something to be said. If this guy is making a Pro V destroyer, then fine. You know, more power to him. But I've only seen these guys, and some of these guys absolutely love these golf balls, and that's awesome, right? As long as they're swinging and they're confident in their swing, have at it, right? Have at it. You know, that's why they call it a free market. All right, 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B. I'm still thinking. Trying to think. 1B. You got to talk. I'm a mechanic, man. So 1B all the way to 4B. I don't know. You got me on this one so far. Thank you. Thank you again. All right, Danny, thank you. Oh, okay. I did change it. I don't know if it ever made it back there. From Austria. Courses are underwater here for a week. 4 foot. Wow, 4 foot. And they're just now getting playable. Normally, if you get a flood of 4 foot, Vladimir, they've recovered, that's pretty doggone good. Kudos to the golf course superintendent to make that go. Got my dad's bag after he passed and had lots of good stuff. The Cobra Speed, yep. The Baffler has been one of their predominant premier type clubs. They leave it and they come back. They leave it and they come back. So yeah. X Series irons. Look at you go. So is he a player like you? And I'm sorry to hear about your dad. Tim Barford. And the same to you, sir. Oh, look at that one. Okay, whoever this guy is. There we go. Timmy, hello from Canada. How are you, sir? What kind of dynamic lie angles are you looking for during a lie angle fitting? Dynamic lie angles. Well, the dynamic lie angles typically go into the irons into the wedges where they're the most important, if that's what you're looking for. You know, in the middle and then a wedge just to make sure, because in the wedge it's probably the most paramount number so that you get that turf interaction that you're looking for. And that's what I tend to look for. I like the Mira sign, or is it Mira? But I do like this symbol. M5 Tour head and got the CK Orange extra stiff. Couldn't hit the driver at all. The Pro 4X core. There you go. Well, you like that shaft, though. That's good. James wants to know what made me get into club making, club fitting. Okay, the standard pat answer, and it's not a pat answer, it's the truth, is that I did a lot of baseball coaching in my younger days, and my kids were playing baseball, and I was just looking for a different type of outlet because standing there watching kids play baseball was not my idea of a good time all the time, right? I wanted to do something on my own, and there were some guys golfing. I thought, well, let's try that out, and started golfing, and the kids decided that they wanted to try golfing as well. And so, like the dad that I was, we went out and got them a couple of sets of clubs, matched them to some height. Out we went and we played. 6 months later, they both hit a growth spurt, and they both grew out of their clubs within 6 months. Now, to add pain to this wound that I've got, the one's a lefty and one's a righty, so there is no hand-me-down. There's none of that happening. So now I got to figure out, well, how am I going to keep these guys in golf? As another hobby, I did some woodworking. Not very good, but I did some. And they said, well, you can build that stuff. Really? So I went up to golf. Oh, my goodness. They just closed. All their places just closed. Anyway, I went up there for a day, and it was a basic, this is how you put a club together. And I said, there has to be more than that. And they said, well, you can always go down to Texas, Golfsmith, and go down to Texas. I said, well, I'm not going to Golfsmith. Is there somewhere closer? And sure enough, GolfWorks was around. So I took the 1 week class of club fitting, club making, drove back and forth an hour and 45 minutes every day, and learned the skill. When I was done the last day, I said, hey, is there anywhere else to go to learn this stuff? And the Professional Club Makers Society was available, and they were out of Louisville, Kentucky. And so I contacted them. We talked a while. I joined the group, got all their certifications, actually became the director of education, and started the business. And then and I never stopped learning, at least I hope not. Didn't never stop learning. But basically, the long answer short is my kids, in order to get clubs into their hands so that I didn't have to keep buying something every 6 months. And that's what it was. Tim, you could do that for certain. You could bore them out, not bore them out, but you could drill them out a little bit more. But it would take a substantial amount, and then what you're doing is that if you're going to have to watch your insertion depth. You're going to have to watch your insertion depth in order to make sure that you don't lose anything in your length either. I had a rough day on the new course. You told me that one. All right. Snell, that's what it is. Thanks, Paul. Snell. Yeah, the Snell guy. He's the guy that, yeah, I like him. He's just straightforward as they come. I appreciate that with some guys. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yep, that's the one. If you had to put together a bag and you were limited to choose from the 2007 era, how would your bags look like? Ooh-wee. That's a good call. I don't know. I would probably have something like, only because I'm not a Cleveland fan, I would probably have, starting at the bottom, I'd have Vokey wedges. I would probably have 2007, 2012. I got to really go back a ways here. We're talking, 8 to 10 years, right? Yeah, 10 years at least. And I'm going to think I would have a ping putter of sorts, quite possibly the Anzer. I know that goes back further, but they've had variations of it. I would have a ping putter. I would probably still have I'd have the Callaway irons. They were pretty good because I wasn't a very good player back then, but still not. I would have that, and then if I didn't have those, I would probably look at the Adams, the CB ones. If they came out in that era, those things were sweet. I would have that. And then in the driver would be a competition probably between, what is it? Was it the Hawk or the Greatest Big Bertha? Man, that's maybe too far ago. The Ping Anzer maybe, right? I'd love to be able to say a Titleist club, but for some reason me and that driver just don't get along. Now the new TSs maybe, I just haven't hit them. But I hit the Ping Anzer very, very well, and I also hit the Callaway driver very, very well, so it could have been either one of those. But that's probably it. Okay, I'm getting the notice here, guys. I got two more here. What's your experience? Jack, my experience is that they're a very solid club. Very, very solid club. When I get them, and I've had some mailed to me, and I've taken some apart, and all the way across the board, and in every instance, every loft and lie was basically dead solid, which means somebody's looking at them. The guys that talk about being buttery smooth or buttery soft is typically from a design aspect. When they spin mill the hosel on there, it creates this kind of baffle between that and the head, and that's what gives it its softer feel. Okay, and it's a design thing. Does that make it bad? No, it's just the way it is. But I find that their head shapes are very, very small. I don't think that they have, and now there's a Mira Geiken out there, and I don't think that they're associated with each other in too much of a way, and they have yet to. They're very much a traditionalist club. You won't find a distance club in their grouping that I'm aware of, and that's something. So it has its niche, but one of the things that really stood out in my mind's eye were some of those wedges. The wedges with the scallops in the back. Guys have had those have just absolutely just gone crazy for them. So and if you like if that fits your style, then sure. Okay. Here we go. Got last one, guys. We're going to finish on a good one. Oh, wait a minute. Jack, got to give Jack a little burnt. Had a good front nine. Well, at least you're playing, man. That's a good thing. Okay, what's your favorite beer when not drinking whiskey? I'm not into whiskey so much, beer and other drinks. And Jägermeister, there you go. Honestly, I'm if I was going to drink beer, I think I would prefer Yuengling, right? Yuengling, it's a beer out of Pennsylvania. They have many different kinds. I did try when I was visiting over there. And we went to Ireland. We did do the dark beer. Oh my God! And it tastes very, very well. There's just only so much I could take. But the other one that I fell into after I told him, I said, look, this is only just so much. And it was an ale, and it was called Smithwick's, and it's spelled out Smithwick's, but Smithwick's. And Smithwick's and this Yuengling are on par with each other, so that's what I would go with. All righty, guys. I got down to the bottom. Mr. McGolf gave me the sign. It is very much time to go. Again, here we go. I forgot to put that on there. There you go. Again, thank you guys for joining me again for another session. We'll be back again next Monday. Tell your friends. If you're interested in the apron, give us a holler. And I will have a video tomorrow that is going to happen. And as always, guys, let's see your scores. Go low.